Greetings everyone, this is BDevine, of course. This is Temple of the Flame. It used to be Devine Miracles. It still has Devine Miracles in it. But we're the Temple of the Flame since we all are this. Okay, this is something as a collective. What I'm going to talk to you about today is a little bit different, I guess, but also maybe something that you've been thinking about perhaps. Tomorrow, just an announcement, obviously. Tomorrow I have my 7 Dragonfire 7 Keys to Creation webinar. It's going to be quite long. It's advertised at about 90 minutes, but it would definitely be over 2 hours. The amount of information that I have for you, the amount of activations, the amount of breath work, the things that we're going to be doing tomorrow is the things that are changing what's happening on the earth, what we're seeing. Okay, by doing these things, we're changing what we're seeing. We're changing how our life is and looks. So I hope to see you there. And I will put in the information, I'll probably put it in the comments actually, just a copy of where you can go, what you're going to have happen, and all the PDFs and everything will be available for those who attend as part of this massive turning of events. But what I wanted to talk with you about today is something that comes up and has come up for so many years in all of my practices, etc. Let me turn myself right up. Okay. Where, as you may know, obviously, I have courses. I've written a book on angelic guidance. I've got a course on Tarot 101. I've been doing readings and giving guidance since 1990 and online since 2009. Hard to believe for some of you because you're like, well, I've just come across you. There's a reason for that as well. But what's happening now is that, as you may notice, I don't use tarot cards anymore. I will use some oracle cards, maybe some astrology cards, you know, my angel cards or whatever, right? As doorways. Because what I have found is that we are moving, or what I know is for us to move into the flame sovereignty era, which is what we're moving into now as we speak, right? This means the end of the old spiritual dependencies. The dependency on having to know what the future holds. The dependency of looking at somebody else to give you the knowledge that you need to proceed. The energy of having someone else reset your vibe or do the Reiki or do the healing or whatever. Having somebody else who can mentor and guide you and lead you. In a sense, we were taught to depend someone else's skills above our own. So when I say to you that I'm not doing the tarot cards or anything like that anymore, it's a lead by example choice, because I haven't been dependent on cards for a very, very long time. But I know that many people look forward to the daily guidance. Because of this, if you go to my Facebook, for example, or TikTok, it's all mainly on this day, whatever card reading or whatever I was giving a year or two ago, right? People just, they want to see it. Within that, I'm able to put in all the flame sovereignty work as well. So it's almost like it bridges it nicely. People say, okay, I hear this, now I'm sensing this. I still want to look at cards, but I'm sensing something's over here. So this video is from dependence to remembrance, and I want to just give you something during this video that's going to help you to really, really discern. Because one of the persons, well, actually I've had this a lot of times, but someone was saying, you know, I don't want any mimic or false energy coming into my field giving me the wrong answers if I'm just going to close my eyes and feel what it is that I need to do, or whatever I'm doing. I'm using my mirror flame or whatever I'm doing. What if I am wrong? What if this is ego? What if I go crazy? If I get it wrong, or if I mislead someone, or I'm making it all up? Okay? So, the trust thing is a massive thing. When you have your flame switched on, and we have our firewall switched on, right? Flame on, as we say, and it activates, okay, activating our firewall of protection. Isn't it interesting? In the old computer terminology, firewall, right, of protection. Mozilla Firefox used to be something that I used to use for my websites and things. So it was always there. Anyway, interesting. So we get our triple flame going on, a white gold flame around us, 360 degrees, okay, all the way into the center of the earth and above into all universes, dimensions, timelines, whatever you want. An inner layer of sapphire starlight, which restores and heals you as you're moving forward, but also it also, as you're realizing things, it starts to heal those things too and bring in that new clarity, right? And then on the outside of this, we have a chrome mirror flame, and this reflects stuff towards you and gets rid of stuff away from you. It is your flame of your mirror tool. So I do know that in some pagan things they use a mirror for divination and a mirror to see your spirit guides and past lives and all of that. I've done lots of videos on this in the past, how to see your aura in the mirror, etc. That's because a mirror itself is a portal, right? When you're using you're using yours as a portal of discernment, of a way of checking in, and it's just a aligned or not. Okay, it's not that it's something that you're going to use for everybody in the beginning, but you're using it for yourself to see what's good for you, what works for you. It stops all of that questioning. It just is, and it's always accurate. So we put our flame on. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you, again, wrote some stuff down, from dependence to remembrance, and why it's so important that we understand what was actually happening to us for all of this time through our spiritual journey, okay? You are already trained not to trust yourselves. For example, religion. Don't trust your own heart. Trust the authority. Give it to God. You know, tell God or tell the priest, and he's the emissary. He's going to be the messenger. He'll, you know, make sure that the message gets across. Trust the authority. Spirituality, 1-0. Don't trust your knowing. Ask your guides, okay, the cards or the reader. A lot of spiritual practices will create a doubt within you of not being as good. I had to help a lot of people through my tarot course because the last little test in the tarot course was to do a 20-minute reading for me based on the principles that I'd given you in the actual course. So people wouldn't do this because I guess maybe they thought they weren't good enough, or maybe they thought that I would think it was really bad, or I don't know, other than there was an intimidation because it was me. Whereas if you truly are just trusting and you're guiding with love and light, right? You're guiding with your fire, and you're just, you know, using your integrity, being gentle, really opening yourself up to the symbols and the colors and the signs and all of this, then you can't go wrong because it's just guidance, right? So, people are trained not to trust themselves. They're always trained to trust. Unfortunately, I got out of this a long time ago, but they are trained to go to someone who knows more than you. Many people will teach you to trust your intuition, but if you don't know why you don't trust, you're still not going to trust it, and you're going to mess it up. So the real messing up of it doesn't come from your intuition, it comes from your overthinking after the fact. So self-distrust. The family, says you're too sensitive, dramatic, or overthinking. So self-trust equals rebellious or dangerous. And distrust equals you're good, you need to go somewhere else. So your nervous system on a subconscious level equates remembrance with some kind of danger, some kind of fallback, some kind of issue. You're going to get in trouble, okay? And that is also a timeline loop that you may be going in, and there are ways to crack those loops and reset a new timeline for yourself. But I'll tell you that in another time. But let's get through this. Okay. So the nervous system equates remembrance with danger. Past lives and this life. Speaking the truth equals punishment. Being different equals isolation. Power equals misuse. Guilt or persecution. So when remembrance starts, the body quietly says, we are not doing that again. We are not going through that again. Stay small. Stay unsure. Don't say anything and you can't go wrong. Stay dependent on somebody else to give you all of the answers, or somebody else who knows more than you, or, you know, you can't do that because you're not as knowledgeable as this person, you're not as famous as this person, whatever. I started this stuff with, when I came online, all the big wigs were online. This is where they were really starting to ramp up, you know, James Van Praagh. There was, what's her name? Doreen, right? Everyone knows Doreen, right? There was the other lady, what's her name? Diane Cooper, right? Diana Cooper, which I like Diana Cooper. Gordon Smith and, you know, all of this, right? They were all big wigs. So here comes BDevine that nobody knows other than people who've already had sessions with me or whatever in the past. And it was a fear of being just it not working. For me, it wasn't what I was doing because I completely trusted what I was doing, but that it wouldn't work, right? So when you start to become, or you start to remember these things, your body says, we're not doing that again. Stay small, stay unsure, stay dependent. You don't get in any trouble that way. Okay, hang on. All right, let's turn my thing off. Right. So people become overprotective of themselves. And the mimic field, okay, loves this. You can't be trusted. You need an external authority. They love people to start going, oh, but I don't know. The moment they feel something real, the mimic throws confusion, imposter syndrome. You're imagining it. You're stepping them out of the mimic economy. Your doubt is the last line of defense, okay? So we're stepping away from dependence and going into remembrance without any tools. And that would probably even throw people even more in a headspin, because they're like, well, at least with a card, I can, you know, get a message from it. Are you? Or are you just getting the message from you? See? So, I know you know exactly what I'm saying, right? and your body reacts when I'm speaking about the flame and I'm speaking about remembrance. You're not blocked in receiving. The real issue is you don't trust yourself with what you're remembering. Okay? And there are reasons for that also. You were trained to doubt your knowing, obscure your truth, and wait for permission. So when your scroll starts waking up and you feel it, okay, and then you shut it down because you're scared of what you'll do with that level of power, right? You need to feel safe being someone who knows. You need to feel safe. And that alone will start to break through. So instead of me just saying, trust yourself, okay? And people are like, well, how can I trust myself? Or, you know, what if something negative comes in? Well, when you have the flame firewall up, nothing on an outside interference that's negative can come anywhere near you. It has 3 layers to get through before it gets to your energy field closest to you where you're receiving. Okay, it's doing a lot of work for you. This is why it's so important that you set your parameters every single day, right? So let's do it this way. A safe remembrance protocol. Start with step 1. And this is naming the fear honestly. Okay, and I'll do it in how I used to be, right? Part of me is afraid I'll be wrong, I'll be crazy, I'll be judged if I trust this. Okay, so one of them sort of sits there. So mine would be crazy. So part of me is afraid I will be crazy if I trust this. So I'm going to say it again. Part of me is afraid I'll be crazy if I trust this. Okay? And then we say, what's the life purpose? Right? More like, what is one truth about me I already know? What is one thing I'm done pretending I don't see? Right? Put your answer there. Okay? What is the truth about me I already know? That is, it is none of my concern what anyone thinks about me. What's one thing I'm done pretending I don't see? I'm done pretending that I don't see. How do I put this? Because I see so much into the future, okay? I see into your scrolls, into your vaults, into your blockages, into your way of thinking, into your past lives. I see on so many different dimensions that I shrink myself because I want to be and remain to be humble. I am not one of these people who is sitting here wanting to predict the exactness of the future events through disasters or Nostradamus type of prophecies, right? Or anything like that. Because the reason I'm careful about that is because I am only focusing on the future, okay, that is flame filled and everybody is where they really want to be. Because I have done this work for so long and seen so many people struggling. I've struggled the entire way in order to give. So I am done pretending that I don't see into dimensions, futures, into anything that we need, okay? I am capable of all of those things, whatever it is that you see as maybe the old spiritual ways, whatever. There is nothing Nothing in the old ways or in the flame ways, right, that I can't do. So I am done pretending, okay, that I'm just a guide. I'm just here along the thing. I am going to say, because of this exercise, that I'm done pretending that I don't see everything about the future of flame sovereignty and the era that is coming. I'm going to tell you that I'm done pretending that I don't see into all dimensions, all energy, all spirits, all guides, all angels, whatever, guardians, protectors, past lives, your skills, your abilities. I am most capable of connecting with what you don't see about you. I'm admitting this because this was the questions that I gave for all of you. So I've also got to admit stuff too. And if some people think that I'm a big head or whatever, that's okay. That's okay. But I'm done pretending that I don't see. I'm done pretending that I don't have as much skill as I actually do have to help you out of absolutely anything, no matter what it is. My skill is that, you know, the voice of the flame, the architect, the one who goes first, the person who opens the vaults, who has the keys, who has the information. Okay, we all do. But I had to go and understand all of this first in order to share it with all of you. So I have to admit, okay, that that's a thing that created, like, as soon as you open your flame, okay, as I've already told you, it opens the corridors into all of these different things that you can explore. Hang on. Before my phone decides it's going to die, I may have to bring this close to me and plug her in. Alright, sorry. Sorry, everyone. Alright, let's see. See if it's plugging in. Yeah, it is. Okay, so hopefully it's still going. Right. I think. Alright. Right, here we go. So, you all have to answer that question for yourself. What are you done pretending? What are you done pretending not to see? What is something that you already know about yourself? Maybe, you know, you don't tell anybody all the things you have because you don't want to appear to be, right? Well, you just heard me. Toot toot, okay? And people can think what they like. I just don't care anymore. This is too important, right? So now we have to feel it in our body. So instead of arguing with these things that you feel about yourself, just notice your body. If it tightens, if it gets hot, if it relaxes, okay? When you're onto something, your body knows before your mind knows. So you take this micro action into alignment. You say no to one thing that you don't want, right? You say yes to the thing you've been stalling on, right? You move one thing in your environment to match that truth. So you trust yourself to do these things and the sky doesn't fall down. That's how trust grows, right? You say no, what happens? Nothing, right? You just said no. You say yeah to something, you start moving forward. You might have been stalling on it and waiting, and this is the perfect time. Is that the perfect time? You're constantly back and forth. But when you just do something exact, it's actually easier than the consequence of overthinking. And you move one thing in, or one small thing in your environment to match that truth, right? So for me, okay, my truth, I don't read your tarot for you anymore. I can look at oracles and things like this as doorways. I like using my crystals as a little bit of fun, or what's coming up, or what's around you, or what you, whatever. But we have things that are deeper than this, all right, already there. You don't need to suddenly trust yourself with everything. That's too big for a nervous system that's been told it's wrong its whole life, okay? But if you can trust yourself with one small truth at a time, one small truth at a time, one feeling that you stop dismissing, one boundary that you stop crossing, one knowing you stop handing to somebody else. For example, people literally say to me, I already know the answer to this, but I want to see if you get the same thing. And I'm like, okay. We're going to spend money because we don't trust what we already know to be true. That has to stop. And what happens with that is independence, strength, okay? The moment you trust what you sense if you trust what you sense just without having all of your flame walls up and your discernment and everything like that, and if you're just going ahead and saying the first thing that comes off your mind, it may come from the wrong place, okay? So you make sure you got your flame on and all of this, and then ask yourself the question directly, right, as well. Self-trust doesn't arrive as a lightning bolt. It builds every time you say, I knew that, and this time I didn't gaslight myself, right? That's remembrance, it's flame, you're capable of it, even if your mind is terrified of what you'll do when you finally believe yourself. When you finally believe yourself and step out of the comparing, okay, or that someone's better or someone's got a better answer, or you become very independent. You won't let anyone take that away, right? So, for example, people try to send me videos of someone else's reading, or there is nothing in me that's going to watch that. Nothing against the person or even the video, right? But why would I need to look at anything? Why do I need to look at anything? I don't need to look at anyone else's methods. I had someone say, oh, Becky, someone's copying you exactly from the academy. If they want to do that, they're going to fall flat on their face. So I don't care. Oh my God, I'm trademarked. So, if it comes up to someone choosing my name or, trying to steal my name or whatever, that can be a legal thing. Like if someone is actually using my name to do tarot or something, right? You can't unless I've given you permission to do so. But unless that's happening, who cares? Because who's going to listen to this person? So I've had to really understand and believe in myself and my capabilities as standing the test, right? And that took a lot, because I understand what it's like to be worried and to be nervous and to be anxious. And you've all heard my stories from the past. But when you do these things, this is when the things that are holding in your life, the things that are not working in your life, begin to work. Okay? So when you have remembrance, that's flame. Okay? When you trust your first instincts, that's flame. When you say what you need to say and you put a boundary out, that's flame. When you're going, oh, but I can't do it. Oh, but I'm trying. Oh, and everybody's in my face and I've got all this drama and, oh, the kids, the grandkids, the stepkids, the dogs, that's just freaking out, right? Some people do that all the time, or that's part of their daily life, and you just want to say, get it together and focus. What the hell's wrong with you? But their nervous system is completely dependent on those old ways. And they don't want to get anything wrong, so much so that they're constantly just in haywire. right? So, just a second here. Losing my spot. So every time you make a decision that is independent for you, it shows that you have broken a silent agreement that it's safer for someone else to have authority in your life. Welcoming your own authority in your life. So the old ways was dependence on others to give you the answers, to give you the healing, to give you the mentoring, to give you the coaching, but not showing you the patterns that you were doing that was stopping you from being completely dependent on yourself and the flame. Dependency on others, dependency on self, dependency on false systems, dependency on the flame, the most ancient system there is. Dependency on other people's codes, dependency on flame codes. Remembering, awakening, these are encoded within you anyway. So the moment you make one little step, it has 1,000 doors that open, right? So let's release something here. Put your hand over your heart. Take a breath in. Hold for 2. Out, release. I release the vow that I'm spiritually helpless. I release the belief that I must always be told. I welcome back my own authority, gently, safely, okay? And there is a deeper contract that says, I'd rather be told than be wrong, okay? I know so many of you are not giving support to others in case you're wrong. And you're so good at what you do. So, when you're always being told, you never practice that discernment. Flame mirror. No discernment equals no self-trust. No self-trust means that you become permanently dependent. So here's another activation. Close your eyes and imagine every time in your life that you were told what to think, who to be, and what to believe. And I want you to just imagine these things are shooting off away from you, forming like a web. Okay, so every time in your life you're told what to think, who to believe, what to be, see all those moments forming a web. And now say, I end the contract of being told. I am willing to learn through my own clear yes and no. I allow myself to be guided, but not controlled. And this gives you permission to keep access to guidance, but not as a cage. The fact that you doubt yourself or have is not proof that you're untrustworthy. It's proof that you've been trained to abandon yourself. Doubt is just your system saying, this level of power is new. Are you really allowed to have this? You're going to mess it up or something? Like, what if you get in trouble? Instead of using this as a weapon against yourself, use it as a sign that you're touching something real. So next time doubt hits you after a real knowing, say, notice I'm doubting because this is powerful. Doubt doesn't mean it's wrong. It means my system isn't used to freedom yet. And this alone removes a layer of self-attack. Okay? Self-attack. Some of you may still secretly want someone to save you from the consequences of your own stuff, right? Your own power. So there's a part of you that wants to remember who you are, and another part that wants someone else to still be responsible if it's wrong. So that's why you keep handing your knowing to readers, cards, signs, and other people's opinions. You're not weak. You're scared of what happens when you become the one who chooses. Okay? I know people think that I'm tough and that I am confident and all of those things. But that is because I have learned to only rely on the inner self for my information, not outside of myself, right? So like I was telling you, if people send me all these readers, someone was reading crystal balls, I don't care. I am not interested. Keeping myself away from watching other people's practices, right? Other than stuff that pops up, but whatever, I haven't seeked it out, okay? That's the very thing that has enabled this to grow. That's the very thing that has allowed all of the information that was encoded within me to actually finally have breathing room, because I'm not crowding it with too much information outside of myself. This also goes to schooling and things like that. I didn't have that. So I didn't have the opportunities that other people did to go to further education or even finish high school, right? Because of my circumstances. My dad didn't want me in school. My dad was a teacher, right? But he didn't want me going to high school in the United States. I was allowed to go for like a month. I got in heaps of trouble. And then he's like, well, you're not going back. So I had to be homeschooled. So the last time I was at school, per se, I was 14. Okay? I had my first son when I was 16. So any knowledge that I've done has been through my own training, through my own self-teaching. Courses, yes. Later, doing college courses and things like that. But nothing to write home about, you know. Nothing that is in a big plaque anywhere, because it's useless online stuff or mail order stuff. Well, you're not going to put that anywhere. But I chose myself. I had to learn. I had to learn in my own ways, and you know, I had to be dependent on me because people I was dependent on let me down all of the time. Some of you are like this, where everyone in your life has dropped the ball on you, right? So it makes it hard for you to trust you because everyone else has rejected you. So there must be something wrong. And this might be inbuilt, okay? We're getting rid of all of it. It's nonsense. It's holding you all back, right? It's an inner dialogue that you've just had wound up for so long, okay? Until you come along this video and we can unlock it. So we be honest with ourselves and we say, why can't I stand up for myself? Where am I waiting for someone to confirm what I already know, right? Even if you answer one of those things honestly, the lock turns, okay? It begins to open. Another thing that we can unlock is borrowing trust from the future you. This is what happened here. Self-trust feels impossible because you're measuring it from a past identity. So you need to bring your future flame self. So right now, you're judging your ability to trust yourself based on every time you were silenced, gaslit, ignored, in trouble. No wonder it feels impossible. So we'll do this differently. Imagine a version of you that is already standing in their flame. They don't give a shit about anything other than forward movement, right? The life's aligned, the nervous system is calmer, wealth and work are reflecting away from that, right, out of you. Like the confidence is just there. You are who you feel you are. It's on the outside, right? And ask that version of you, what would you like me to do next? So you're in your flame vibe. You're a couple of years ahead in time, so you know exactly what you're doing, right? So what would you like to do next? If you're the flame self, you're going to kick your own butt and say, keep going. Okay? It's time. No more. No more rubbish talk to yourself. You are far greater than that, and you're going to see it, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to experience it. And you're starting now. You're starting now. And you don't have to have all the answers. Guess what? My answers, okay, are not always about me. In fact, hardly at all, which is annoying. You know why? Because I was told a long time ago, it's not about me. So, this has always been about giving to all, which put me in this putting myself last role. It's not what it meant, right? So, what would your future self have you do right now? Trust that answer for one step, one day, right? Write it down. What are you really saying to yourself in the future? Just one step. And then if you can borrow clarity, strength, okay, from the self who's already done it, instead of from the wounded one, the past lives, the split off parts of the self, the persecuted ones, the ones that were killed, the ones that were maimed, the ones that were laughed at, the ones whose family members hate them and da-da-da-da-da. Don't ask that. Don't go into that. The future you already has it all together. So you might as well go there. And before you say it, okay, I don't know if yes, you do know if you're getting it right. The other thing you could say, if someone else came up to you and said, I am doubting myself because everyone's going to laugh at me, everyone's going to think I'm strange, everyone's going to think this is cuckoo, but I really do believe in flame sovereignty and that I already know all of this information, I'm just scared. What advice are you giving that person? You've already got it. Give that advice to yourself. The one truth only rule. Wide open. If we remembered everything all at once, we'd probably brain fry. Okay? That's how much information we have. So you don't have to trust everything you feel or see or remember. You just have to do one truth that you already know. One truth about who you are. One truth about what you're done tolerating. One truth about what you really want. You speak it out. You write it down. And you don't call yourself names for it. Okay? The one truth only rule stops the overwhelm in your brain. It gives you somewhere solid to stand. You don't mistrust yourself because you're broken. You mistrust yourself because every system you've ever been in benefited from you doubting yourself, doubting your own knowing. Religion benefited from your obedience. New Age spirituality benefited from your dependency. Your family may have benefited from you being the one who stayed small or quiet or responsible for everybody else. The one to blame, the scapegoat. So of course, when remembrance starts, it feels wrong because your mind says, who do you think you are? Well, you think you know everything now? But hear me now. The very fact that you're questioning everything is proof that your flame is finally online. You don't need to flip a switch to 100% self-trust overnight. You only need to stop calling yourself crazy every time your soul tells you the truth. You're done with that. The crazy era is over. We revoke every vow that says, I'm safer doubting myself than remembering who I am. I release the contracts that made my intuition a liability. I'm safe learning to trust in knowing small, steady steps. And I will not hand my scroll my soul documents to mimic systems, hierarchies, or fear. I'm willing to be the one who knows, even if my voice shakes saying it. Okay? So, the old systems were designed to keep a person continually asking and wanting more. As you do the flame work yourself, there are things you're going to want to deepen your knowledge about so you can use them for practices or whatever you need to do. But it's going to be so easy for you to also incorporate into your life that you will be done having to learn more because you'll just be opening it up yourself. Okay? There are some of you that have not said anything in the comments yet, but I know who you are and that you're watching and that you understand what I'm talking about. And maybe it's coming up where you will have the courage to say something about who you are, what you're here for, and how this is all tying into your life as well. So, again, nothing wrong with getting some clarity, perhaps, because you just want to double be sure, I guess. So one step at a time, right? But start instead to use the tools that are connected within you. Use the tools that you have set up. Your flame discernment, you can do mediumship this way. You can connect with your angels this way if you need to. You can also ask for messages to be given to you in a very easy way, right? That are coming from you in the future. Okay? My future self, at the beginning of this year, told me about the Soulfire codex. Told me that this was written. This was already happening. And all of the aspects of it and what it was. And it took me a little bit of time, okay, to get my head around just what that was for these old reasons. People are going to think it's crazy. People are going to think I've lost the plot. People are going to... And then I had to stop myself because it wasn't mattering at all. It was far too important to be worrying about what people might think, because it wasn't about thinking anymore. It was about a remembering, okay? It wasn't about proving anymore. It was a knowing, okay? It wasn't about fighting anymore. It was about igniting, empowerment, spiritual mastery, if that's what you want to call it. Being able to have a way out of absolutely anything in a very strong, powerful, and positive way. The old methods of spirituality are difficult because the people rely on the person who's giving the advice, i.e. myself, to know everything. Luckily, I'm good with that. I feel like I do. I know at least the right message to give you, the right thing that your soul is looking for, right? But what it did was it created a cycle for me as the person who's the practitioner, as the teacher, as the guide, of constantly repeating myself, constantly feeling frustrated that people couldn't get it, constantly fixing years and years and years of someone else's methods and fixing it and helping and guiding, and the person is so overloaded with everything that they've been taught before that those patterns were so hard to crack that we would run out of time, or we would run out of space, or they wouldn't, they would get so far and then fall right back. We'd have to start all over again. I saw it over and over again from a practitioner a teacher and a guide's point of view, it was going around in circles for a very long time. Okay? And, you know, trying to say, this is what we got to do and this is how we got to do it, but then not being able to see what goes on in someone's life when they get home. Are they doing it? I don't know. How could I be sure? I'm trusting what they're saying to me, but then, you know, problems would happen or issues would occur. So having people constantly depending on someone else to give them all of the answers as well, but being too scared to change their life so they didn't need that anymore. You see? That's the thing that needs to change in spirituality. Do the cards. You don't need cards, is what I would say to somebody. I'm telling you. Yeah, but I just put the cards out to confirm. It used to be so annoying because I'd be like, there's no need for these stupid cards because it's going to tell me exactly what I'm telling you now. You're going to see exactly what I'm telling you. So me as a practitioner, it wasn't just that, oh, hey ho, today we're just going to change the way that things work. No, this was coming actually when I think about it for a very, very long time. I knew that we were encoded for the right destiny for us. I knew this. I created the Destiny Code. It's free. It's on YouTube here. It's got 2 parts. It talks a little bit too much about things that other people might find to be conspiracy theories or whatever. And that's why I got a lot of crap from YouTube and all of that sort of stuff because I was speaking my truth, right? But there comes a point when a person who is a guide, okay, cannot continue to be the guide. They cannot continue to have that dumping grounds without the person holding the responsibility to actually make changes and know that they can do it, right? People have been so damaged. People have been so traumatized, okay? People have been victimized. People have been shunned and just abandoned and rejected and all that sort of stuff. And so when you're telling someone, hey, you can remember who you are, they might not want to actually remember who they are, thinking that it's a weakness, when we're moving into something of such greatness that we literally gave our lives for it so many times over. We did things to protect this information. We stored this information in the most wonderful and in some of the most ordinary places around the globe and in different locations cosmically and under the earth as well. We have this ability to actually unlock it through ourselves, right? And those parts of ourself that are connected through vaults and vaults around the globe and openings and gateways and all of this information that's stored in there, right? Once you connect that through your body and you start understanding why maybe, I don't know, maybe you got a problem with your left side of your arm or something, your right side's fine, but you always get something over here. Yes, it can be related to the feminine line in the family or some female that's trying to drag you around or stop you from doing something or whatever. But what if your left arm is connected to a vault that is hidden in a desert somewhere? How would that feel? Your arm would be dragged, feeling like it would be dragging under. Maybe this is missing balance in your life to unlock all of these things. And this is what we will be doing here. This is all about unlocking sacred knowledge you have, not from books, not from anything other than things that are already here within you. And the timeline corrections start happening. The loops start closing, okay? The fragmented parts of yourself, okay, as we talk about in Reiki, is that parts of who you are as a soul shattered in all these lifetimes, and then you know, in shamanism, we do the retrievals as well, right? All of those things mean something, but there are even bigger meanings to things, and we never knew that we were the key. No, we thought there was going to be some, like the Akashic records in the right paw of the Sphinx going down, right? It's not there. That's not the way to find it. There's a secret way to find it. That's not where it is, though, because the libraries are in multiple locations. It wouldn't be so stupid to put them in one spot. Might be a decoy there. There might be something there, but it's a decoy. It's not going to be the Akashic records. It's not. So think about it, right? Think about, in a larger sense, exactly what's really happening here, what's transpiring, right? And there are other people that are going to try to come out with all of this and talk like this, but that you'll know that it's not the right thing, okay? You'll know that it's not the right thing, and it will self-destruct. The time for copying and mimicking and all of these things, and spiritual hierarchies, and even the angels hate that. They hate the hierarchies. That's come from men. That's not come from angels. So, you know, as much as it's like even trying to write the book, it was like, I hate having to say archangel, but I'm going to, because that's the way that people understand it. When I should have just said, this is actually not what they think. I did say this at the beginning of my book, that they have no even need for names, right? But there's systems in places that are that subtle. Like even for angelic hierarchy, they don't have that. So where did this come from, right? It's not real. It's control, okay? We're going to start to understand how this all works for us. We're going to unlock in so many ways. It's not funny. Some of it will be in course format so that I can get really in depth, do the exercises, share the PDFs, all that sort of stuff. And there will be a foundation series that is free, but then it will move into the sequences and the things that you might want to learn more about, and that will be something that you pay for and have access to. Otherwise, easy ways to do it. Stay on the YouTube, okay? Stay on Facebook or wherever you found me and listen, because it's coming, and it's coming for you, right? If you want to do things live with me, $55 a month for the webinar, plus daily, pretty much daily updates, videos, behind the scenes, behind the lens, right? All this sort of thing on Patreon. So that's kind of like a hub. And then courses will be on my templeoftheflame.com website. And that is run by Teachable, but I have my own domain there, obviously. So there are some free courses there already, but there will be a foundational series that will go up. And this will be the basics of the flame and how it all works, so you've got it right in front of you. And then when you want to learn more, you go from there. But this was about leaving dependence and moving into remembrance. Doing one thing for yourself today that you can trust. Bring your future self forward towards you to give you the answers that you need. And if you can't do it for yourself, imagine that you are counseling someone else with the same issue, the same confidence issues, the same worries, the same I'll do it when it's coming, I know, all of that. What does your future self say to your now self? This is so important. This is the guidance that will start unlocking a lot within your body, in your mind, and in your soul. And when it starts unlocking, or something sinks, or something happens, that's when you see a big difference in your appearance. Like the weight is lifted, the light is back, the flame is bursting through. So for those of you who are going to be at my webinar tomorrow, I look forward to seeing you then. It is very wet, and I'll just do the camera around, see if you can see. See if you can see the rain coming down, perhaps. Yes. We lost all of our leaves off of our trees and stuff, almost. So tomorrow, we move on to the Dragonfire 7 Keys of Creation. It is going to be a longer one. If you can't be there, if you're going to be late, or you're only going to be there for half of it, or whatever, fine, okay. Just take your place and away we go. I will be starting very, very quickly because I know I have a lot to get through. So it starts at 10 o'clock in the morning Central Time, okay, Chicago time. And it starts at 10 a.m. On an unlisted YouTube live, okay? I'll probably start about 10:05 because I have so much to get through. So you can always watch the replay if you're part of the Patreon Flame tier. There'll be replays, there'll be updates, there'll be tons of PDFs. I have, tons of PDFs for you all. So you can, okay, yeah, oh yeah, I'm going to read that later. Yeah. All right. So hope to see you there. This is what I love to do. I love to teach. I love to share. I love to push people forward, bring you into who you really are, right? That's what this is all about. And never been more passionate about anything than this work. So I'm really, really happy to be here doing it now. We need it, okay? So thanks for listening once again, okay? I will see you hopefully tomorrow. If not, I'll see you in the next video next week. And bye for now.